You need to have more balance in your life, or do you? What is going on? Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hendrickson. And if you are brand new to this podcast, what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health and self-development and how to get your life moving in the right direction. And, even if you're feeling like you're not in the place where you want to be right now, feeling confident knowing that you're taking one step in the right direction towards the life that you want to lead. And if you're not new to this podcast, then welcome back. And thank you very much for coming back and supporting this journey, supporting this movement, and supporting the show. Supporting the idea that, we should be making ourselves 1% better at least every single day. And along the way, lifting others up as well. Whether you're brand new to this podcast or not, I just wanted to say thank you very much for joining us today. And from the bottom of my heart, you are the reason that I do what I do. Yes, you listen to this right now. So I'm doing pretty good today. I hope you guys are doing pretty good as well. Happy Monday. It is Monday today. Monday. We are starting off this week. We're kicking it off. It is Sunday late afternoon as I'm recording this. I just looked at the time here. And we're doing pretty good. I had a jiu-jitsu competition yesterday. It didn't turn out the way as planned. I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do. I felt pretty confident going into this one. It's funny because my nerves were lower than they normally are going into something like this. I didn't feel as anxious or nervous, and I didn't end up doing as well as I thought. So maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe I need to hype myself up or psych myself up a little bit more. It just didn't really feel like, something to be nervous or afraid of. And I don't know. I just kind of came to the conclusion that, it's not my last competition and each competition is going to be a lesson. And, we always talk about controlling what you can control. And I feel like a lot of the times you have to really just put yourself out there to experience failure. If you don't step onto the mat, if you don't go out and put yourself in a vulnerable position to fail, you're never going to find out where your weak points are, and you're never going to find out where you need to improve. And so I ended up taking second place in my division, which, again, not too bad, but it wasn't the outcome I was looking for. And so it's back to training again tomorrow morning, or tomorrow evening, actually, is when I go to training. And we're going to start working on some of the things that I need to work on. And with that being said, hope you guys are doing well. The truck is still being worked on. Actually, by the time this airs, I should have it back. But there was a couple different hiccups going on with that. And I'll have more to come once I get it back. But we're still in the process of working on my truck, so I'm still driving courtesy cars. And it's been an eventful couple weeks here between having that and having some birthdays in the family, different celebrations, going fishing, having the jiu-jitsu competition. I've just kind of been all over the place, both mentally and physically. And I haven't been able to record as much as I want to, and I haven't been able to sit down and edit as much as I want to, but to say the least, I'm still enjoying the process of, trying to figure out what this whole balance thing is. And if you know if you know me personally, you know that balance is always something that I've struggled a lot with. It's a finicky thing. I've always been kind of like to the extreme kind of guy. I'm always either like completely on the grind, in the zone, no cheat meals, always going, always grinding, 2 workouts a day kind of guy. Or, not working out, eating junk food, and sitting around playing video games, like fuck, or like partying and filling my body up with substances that shouldn't be in there. And throughout the years, I've tried to try and find what balance truly means, because I've never been able to do that. I've always bounced around between the super disciplined and super undisciplined. So that's what I thought I'd talk about quickly today. Got like maybe 20 minutes or so here, and I thought I'd just sit down and record and chat about this. But before I jump into that, I'm going to take a sip of this beautiful iced coffee I just made myself in a little mason jar here, like a little hipster. I got a big glass of ice, poured some coffee in, a little bit of milk, and we're good to go. So I'm going to take a sip of that. You guys take a sip of whatever you got in front of you. Maybe just take a deep breath. But we're just going to take a second to get grounded, get in the mindset of growth and development and focus, and maybe just think about how the day's going. So happy Monday morning. Let's take a sip. Beautiful. Listen to that ice clink. I don't know if you can hear that, but what a beautiful noise. I love that sound. So balance. Yeah, that's one of the things I've always struggled to find. Like I said, I've always kind of been a 0 to 100 kind of guy. I've always kind of, I'm either pedal to the metal with discipline or pedal to the metal on the opposite end of that spectrum. Eating everything in front of me, drinking whatever is handed to me, playing video games, watching sports. And I just kind of, whenever I'm on either extreme, I just kind of think negatively about the other side of the extreme. And I think that a lot of the time we see people that, grind their asses off, become uber successful, uber rich, uber famous. And we see some of the things they do, like when they buy sports cars and yachts and they party, and we're like, what a waste of money. And, I think that a lot of us demonize indulging a lot of the times in our lives. Or the other side of it is all we do is indulge, and we don't do what we're supposed to be doing in terms of the work. And I think that a lot of the time we have this like idea of balance. We hear about balance. Everyone's like, you need to find balance. You need to have some balance. And when we hear that, we think, oh, finding balance, that means just resting more. And I think that a lot of us gravitate, obviously, more towards the leisurely side of balance and think that we need that in our lives, think that we deserve that, think that we think that we need to gravitate more towards that without actually doing the other side of it, which is the discipline, the work, the hard side of balance. Because truly what balance means is like having some sort of a contrast. And I had a post that I shared about this in my Instagram story a couple weeks back, talking about this, and I thought I'd elaborate on it because I think that to have that contrast, to be able to enjoy the fruits of our labors, to be able to enjoy the leisure side of life, the relaxing or the partying or the kicking back and eating some junk food or anything like that, we first have to do the grind, And I think that in the last couple months, I've experienced both sides of it. I think that, coming up to a competition, the last month before that, I'm really dialing in my nutrition. I'm really dialing in my training. I'm not eating things I'm not supposed to be eating. It's just basically like steak and veggies, a little bit of fruit throughout the day. And I'm training at least once a day, most of the times twice a day. And really dialing in with water, with supplements, with my sleep, with everything, just getting everything all lined up. And, after every single time I do something like that, whether it's 75 hard or training for a competition or anything, I always make sure I do some sort of a celebration, even though I'm not quite where I'm wanting to be at that specific time. I want to always celebrate the little wins. I want to be able to celebrate the things that I've done well. and appreciate those things. And that's where I find the contrast and balance comes from. I don't know if you guys have been watching the limited series on Netflix. I'm not a big Netflix guy, as you guys probably know already from the way I talk about the consumption of those types of things. But this documentary on Conor McGregor, McGregor Forever, he talks a little bit about this as well, about being able to take his family out on yachts and being able to buy his girl a different car for every day of the week and being able to get his kids everything that they want and his kids. Like, he talks about this vision of the future. And alongside of all this stuff that we see in the media of him kind of going out and getting watches and getting new cars and having nice clothes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, alongside with all of that, the only thing that makes that possible is the hard, heavy grind. Doing things that other people are not willing to do to get the things that not everybody has the opportunity to indulge in. And I just feel like when we hear about balance and having these things in the media or on social media, it glorifies one side of it and neglects the other side. When we hear about, oh, you need to have balance, we think that just waking up and going to an 8-hour job, we're like, oh, now I deserve a fucking whole week off, or I deserve a month off. I deserve to rest and recover. I deserve to go out and party my ass off every single weekend. And it's like, you're really not doing much exceptional work by just getting up and, working an 8-hour day. I'm not saying that that's not a dignified thing to do. It is, of course. But to be able to experience the extremities of leisure, we need to first indulge in the extremities of hard work. And I think that that's why a lot of us feel like, something's missing a lot of the times in our lives. We feel like, this need to consume and indulge. And I think that that's where a lot of addiction comes from, because there's a void missing within us. I think that a lot of that, it doesn't come from hard work. It comes from where the hard work is directed to, some sort of a purpose, some sort of a reason for the grind, a reason for said balance. And I think that a lot of us are, directionless with the efforts that we have, and we work hard, because most people do work somewhat hard relative to what they think hard work is. And I think that that's different for every single one of us. But I think that because there's no specific direction, there's no specific purpose, it's difficult for us to aim both the leisure and the hard work into one channeled area. I know that for myself, some of the ways that you can kind of visualize this or explain this is that, if you are going to, say, focus solely on making your life better, making your friends and family's lives better, making your community's lives better, what does that really look like? So the hard work would be directed at some sort of means to do that, whether it's creating community programs, whether it's making more money to be able to get yourself out of poverty. Maybe it's, just paving the way in terms of a new industry or a new type of career path that people in your community might not think is possible. Just motivating or inspiring somebody else to make their lives better. Then your leisure has to be in line with that as well. If your goal is maybe something just more fitness oriented, you want to be the greatest, whatever sport you play, you want to be the greatest to ever do it. All of your work is obviously going to be geared towards that, but your leisure must be as well. And so the best way to visualize it is in terms of balance in, say, like fitness or workouts, is as hard as you're going to work out, you have to also recover. You have to also make sure that you're going to sleep as much as you're going to work. You have to make sure that you're going to stretch and recover your muscles as much as you're going to break them down. You're going to have to make sure that you're fueling your muscles properly. I think that the best way to summarize this is to remember that if you're actually going to make sure that your life is balanced, one of the maybe one of the techniques you can use is to get out a piece of paper and write down what you think balance actually means for you. And write down some of the tasks that you partake in that are maybe more leisurely or relaxing or recovery or whatever you think is leisurely, whether it's going out and partying, going out and enjoying the company of other people, going to gatherings, maybe just sitting around watching Netflix for an hour, maybe indulging in your favorite junk food, maybe having a drink, maybe having a fucking puff of a joint, having multiple puffs of multiple joints, maybe, anything that you think of in terms of leisure, and find a way to measure it up to the hard work that you're going to have to do to deserve those things. Because I think a lot of the time we have this entitled mentality that we just inherently deserve to have the leisurely side of balance without having to do the hard work that is deserving of those things. And a lot of people are going to get a little bit triggered or butthurt when you say that, you really don't deserve to relax as much as you are right now. Maybe you probably need to do a lot more work, whether that's physical work, spiritual work, or just that deep inner work that you really just couldn't be bothered to do. I think that a lot of us feel more entitled and deserving to the leisurely side of it than we do entitled to the hard work side of it. And I think that that's why so many people struggle with balance, because we feel like when we hear balance, it just means we need to relax more. When really, if you were to take a count for all of the things that you do every single day on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis, most of the time, we're probably teetering more towards the side of leisure than we are hard work. And so to truly have balance in your life and to actually feel like, okay, I have this homeostasis, I have this feeling of balance, this feeling of I'm on the right path, most likely you're going to have to add in a little bit more hard work. And if you're wondering, what kind of hard work must I be doing? What kind of hard work should I be doing? To actually feel fulfilled and feel like I'm on the right path and to fill this empty void that I feel inside of me, you might want to look into the purpose or the direction that you actually want to lead your life in. Think about what your purpose could possibly be on this earth. And I know that for myself, I really had to dig deep on this one. I had to think about this for years. And I always wanted to start my own company. I always wanted to run my own programs. I wanted to be kind of the entrepreneurial. I didn't like authority. I didn't like all of those things. And I started company after company trying to do different things in regards to apparel or community services or different things like that. And I really had to think about what the purpose actually was. And I've told this story many, many times, so I'm going to summarize it up real quick right now. But I remember there was a point where I was so suicidal and depressed that I wanted to give up. And through the grace of God, I sat there and I contemplated it. And I remember having this conversation with myself, basically saying that if I'm going to continue down this path and I'm going to continue living, I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to keep surviving, basically, even though I feel as terrible as I do right now, I'm going to find a way to make sure that I can try and alleviate this feeling for somebody else. And on that day, I realized my purpose in this world. And since then, I've just been trying to get closer and closer towards that. And that, for me personally, is what continues the hard work and the work ethic and the discipline, but it also fuels the leisure as well. Because whenever I'm relaxing or whenever I'm on the other side of the balance board, whenever I'm, taking a step away from the unwavering discipline, when I do waver from that and when I do partake in the leisure side of balance, I try and immerse myself in that with the lens of the purpose of just making someone else's life better. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people smile. I want to make them feel like they're getting to experience the things that I get to experience as well, the fruits of my labor, and try and share those fruits with other people as well. And when you can come into alignment with your purpose, in that way, it's a lot easier to do the hard work, but it's also a lot more guilt-free to indulge in the leisure. So that's all I really wanted to talk about today is what this idea of balance means to me, where it comes from, how you can do it guilt-free, and how to align it with your purpose. And I want you guys to think about that today as we start our weeks. It's Monday this morning or evening when you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, and that's pretty much all I got. So if you guys enjoy this message, if you feel like someone needs to hear it, please do share it with them. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, rate it 5 stars, leave a little review. If you're watching this on YouTube, rate, like, comment, and subscribe. And other than that, we still do have the Risen Fallen meetups. If you guys want to get involved in that, you want to join in on the weekly calls, the in-person meetups, anything like that, reach out to me on Instagram. If you want to support the movement even more, you can jump on the website, risenfallen.com. We have tees and hoodies there available for you to look stylish and support the cause all in the same moment. And other than that, I hope you guys are doing well. I will catch you on Thursday. Much love and peace out, you beautiful fucking human beings.